Hi, my name is Muhammad Lukman Hakim bin Muhammad Hanif and my student ID is 2024-789115. So today I will be presenting the introduction of this project, which consists the background of the business. The business we have chosen for this project is Sips Coffee, a pop-up coffee shop located at Jalan Tun Mutahi at Mountain Village 75100, Malacca. This business operates as a partnership under the Business Registration Act 1956 and 1957, and it's owned by Mr. Haris Ismail, Mr. Penlau, and Mr. Nabi Fitri. Sips Coffee specializes in selling a variety of coffee, non-coffee, and also refreshing drinks, as well as an assortment of snacks and sweets. This business officially registered in December 2022. The idea for the coffee shop stemmed from Mr. Haris Ismail and his previous experience and expertise in this industry. With 12 years of experience as a barista, Mr. Haris Ismail recognized the potential for a success in opening his own coffee shop. Running the business alongside his friends, Mr. Benlau managed the service coffee machines while Mr. Nabil Fitri handles supplier arrangement for coffee ingredients and manage the business financials. They started Sips Coffee using a bank loan and brought in for RM80,000 as initial capital. Their strategic location near the city center of Malacca, which attracts a target client of tourists and locals alike. These coffee shops operating daily from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. The coffee shop employs 7 workers, including 2 part-time staff members. The main focus of Sips Coffee is its variety of drinks, catering to different preferences with options ranging from coffee-based drinks to flavor coffees, non-coffee, beverages, and refreshers. This diverse menu appeals to a wide customer base. Next, they choose a strategic location near student areas, which universities, colleges such as UiTM and College Professional Mara, commercialized zones, and business districts. The owner have positioned Sips Coffee for success in a bustling urban area.
Okay, thank you Lokman for your explanation about organization background. Now I will explain my part, which is characteristics. As you know, in business organizations have many types of characteristics, the advantage and also the disadvantage. But in this subject, we only learn 3 types of characteristic business organization, which is sole proprietorship, partnership, and limited company. For our project report, we choose Sips Coffee. Sips Coffee was registered with Companies Commission of Malaysia, where it was under the Business Registration Act 1956 and 1957. Therefore, in 2011, Sips Coffee Company used to be a sole proprietorship business, but now they changed into partnership in 2022. Partnership is also known as the form of business between 2 or not more than 20 people to own the business, and it has the advantages. Now is capital, where capital means the money that used to build or run to grow a business. Moreover, Sips Coffee, they contribute their capital where they divided it for 18,000 and they start business together according to In Agreement Partnership or Partnership Act 1961. Next is ownership. For Sips Coffee, where it owns by 3 partners, which is Mr. Haris bin Ismail, Mr. Benlau, and lastly Mr. Nabil Fitri. For Sips Coffee, also known as general and normal partnership, which all of them have equals and rights in decisions making for Sips Coffee. Furthermore, the management and control for Sips Coffee, it was controlled by the partners. It is because they can manage the activity and flow of business in Sips Coffee. For example, they already decided the roles, which is Mr. Haris in charge for manage and operation of cafe, Mr. Benlau for services machine, and lastly Mr. Nabil Fitri in charge of supply of stock and manage the account of company. Besides, every business have their own liability, and liability have 2 types, which is limited liability partnership (LLP) and unlimited liability. But for Sips Coffee, is limited liability since they are partnership and they were ready and willing to face all of the challenges in business. But for limited liability, each of them will not take any responsibility and mistakes or carelessness. Moreover, the profit or loss for partnership in Sips Coffee, they typically it was shared among 3 of them in terms of agreement, and they also share the same profit sharing ratio. They also will share profit that they get, and at the same time, the losses in Sips Coffee it will incur by 3 of them based on the investment in this organization. And lastly, for books and account, Sip Coffee did not have the legal obligation to keep the books and account, but for Sip Coffee, they have their own books of account, where it will more convenient and easy to track their transactions in business. Okay, now I'm already finished with my part. Next, I will pass to Zahirul to explain about classification of business item.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Zahirul Amrin bin Zairi. My student ID is 2024752649. So next, I'm going to elaborate about classification and business items. For Sip Coffee, it uses 5 elements of accounting in managing business because it will provide extremely useful information to the users in the form of written reports that show a detailed and accurate picture of a company's financial performance. Such information is invaluable for management, partners, creditors, enabling informed decision making that drives business success. Those 5 business classification items are assets, liabilities, capital, revenue, and expenses. So number 1 is asset. Assets are items owned by a company that have potential economic value that can be assessed and stated in currency. Non-current assets and current assets are the 2 sorts of assets. There are 2 types of non-current assets, which is tangible and intangible. Tangible assets such as vehicle and machinery have physical attributes, whereas intangible assets do not have physical dimensions but nonetheless have value on it. Current assets are assets that have been in a company for less than a year. This is due to the ease with which these assets can be converted into cash. Examples for current assets: account receivable, cash in hand, and cash in bank. For example, for non-current assets, for tangible, furnitures such as tables, chairs, and fan. For vehicles such as van. For equipment such as coffee machine, power generator, render, and etc. Next is liability. Liability is a business's liability to represent its financial obligations to creditors encompassing the money it owes, recorded on the credit side of the ledgers when increased. There are 2 main types of liabilities: non-current and current. Non-current liabilities like long-term loans and mortgages are obligations not expected to be settled within a year due to their high value and extended repayment period. In contrast, current liabilities such as accounts payable, bank overdrafts, and accrued expenses are short-term debts expected to be paid off within a year. Mr. Haris Ismail took loan from the RHB Bank amounted 80,000 to start the business. Next one is capital. Capital refers to the financial contributions made by each partner, which are recorded in individual capital accounts. These accounts track the initial investment, additional contributions, and each partner's share of the partnership's profits and losses. Capital in a partnership also includes retained earnings, which are profits reinvested back into the business rather than distributed to the partners. The total capital represents the combined equity for all partners, reflecting their ownership stakes and the financial foundation of the partnership. As for Sip Coffee, Mr. Haris Ismail contributed 80,000 for the capital to start the business, while Mr. Ben Lau contributed for equipment, and Mr. Nabil Fitri contributed for ingredient. So next one is revenue. Revenue is the monetary worth of various goods and services provided to clients is represented by revenues. If revenues rise, the owner's equities will rise as well. Operating revenues and non-operating revenues are the 2 types of revenue. The revenues produced from the core company activity referred to as operating revenue. The revenue for this business consists of shop lot cafe revenue, pop-up cafe revenue, machinery selling revenue, and ingredient selling revenue. So for the last one is expenses. An expense is reduction in value of an asset as it is used to generate revenue. If the underlying asset is to be used over a long period of time, the expense takes the form of depreciation and is charged ratably over the useful life of the asset. If the expense is for an immediately consumed item, such as a salary, then it is usually charged to expense as incurred. Example for Sip Coffee expenses are ingredients, utility bills, loan, rental, and salary. So this is the table that shows simplified view of the classification of business items of this company. As you can see, for asset, there are furnitures, vehicle, and equipment. For liability, there is loan. For capital, there is 80,000. For revenue, there are cafe sales, machinery sales, and ingredient sales. And the last one is expenses. There are ingredients, utility bills, loan, rental, and salary. I think that is all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Auni Shazli binti Muhammad Akbar and my ID number is 2024783343. The purpose of recording process is to maintain an accurate records in everything. Next, to ensure the record is correct, reliable, and cannot manipulated. So, as we know, the current system that Sips Coffee have been used is toad use, which is Microsoft Excel that record the transaction business. Next is for transaction, they use cash sale and credit sale. Lastly, they will record by trial balance, balance sheet, profit and loss statement, and general ledger. As we know, the one who is responsible to do this transaction is Nabil Fitri. He will record all the transaction in the business using the Microsoft Excel. I would like to discuss about strengths and weaknesses of the recording process. The first one is low overhead cost. Sips Coffee operate based on van that will lower overhead costs compared to setting the cafe by using a large capital. So, you don't have to worry about monthly rent for the location. In addition, it can reduce the expenses of the business when you use this concept, which is pop-up business. Expenses in paying salary to employee also lower because the number of employees is small. Next is partnership as accountant. As we know, Sip Coffee is a partnership business, so all the transaction cash flow in Sip Coffee will be recorded by Nabil Fitri, which is one of the partner in this business. Sip Coffee not hire professional accountant to do their financial statement, ledger, and journal. This is because they think this method can save their expenses on paying someone else to do that. Lastly, for strength is using suitable software to record financial. In recording their financial process, Sips Coffee use Microsoft Excel to record and manage their cash flow due to flexibility, accessibility, and powerful data analysis. In addition, this software make it the business more easy to trace their daily cash flow and monthly. Next, it also can use formula and macros that automatic calculation. For example, in formula is function like sum, if, and count to calculate totals. Example for macros is automating tasks such as updating daily cash flow and monthly reports. The first point for weaknesses is data mistaken and error. In managing cash flow using Microsoft Excel, it's possible to make some mistake and error. This is because of human error in data entry, which can be mistyping, number or text, copy the data to wrong cell, and forgetting the key in the transaction. In addition, data will be also error because of incorrect formula for calculation, such as summing the total in sale. Next is difficulty in tracing customer payment by e-wallet. Using e-wallet, payment in the business for customer transaction can introduce some challenges. This is because, as we know, e-wallet lack of detailed transaction information, which the payment that already made might appear with general description, so we cannot identify the purchase description. For example, when you use QR payment to make purchases, the owner will get the notification of money that the money already have in the account, but the details of purchases not appear in the description. Last point for weaknesses is lack in financial control. A lack of financial control when not using a proper accounting system can lead to inconsistent and inaccurate data entry. Without proper accounting system, businesses will rely on manual process, which can lead to miscalculation and inconsistent data because use varying format. Without proper system, also the security will be more dangerous because unauthorized individual might access and manipulate the financial data, and it also easy to commit and conceive fraud transaction.
In conclusion, the partnership model shows to be an effective strategy for running a Sips Coffee by Mr. Haris Ismail, Mr. Ben Lau, and Mr. Nabil Fitri. Within this dynamic environment, each of partners contributes distinct skills, resources, and better decision making. Partnerships also may have limited access to finance and scalability as compared to other types of company structures. The partnerships agreement is an important contract that defines duties, responsibilities, and profit sharing arrangements and establishing trust. By adopting technology and investing in a strong accounting system, the owner can not only increase efficiency and production, but also position their company for a long-term growth and success in competitive coffee sector. This ensures the long-term profitability and sustainability of their attempt in the competitive coffee sector. So that's all the explanation for our group. Thank you and have a good watching. Bye.